Hi friends, when we speak about Russian literature, after Tolstoy or equivalent to Tolstoy, there are a few other great names. Prominent among them has to be of Dostoevsky, the man who wrote Brothers Karamazov, Crime and Punishment, and of course the book which is to be discussed in this blog called The Idiot. There are many others. There is Pushkin, there is Gorky, whose story, most famous story, The Namesake, was made into a popular film also. But definitely, another cornerstone, one of the main legends of Russian literature has to be Dostoevsky. Now, even within the, you can say, the spectrum of what work Dostoevsky has done, it is very difficult to decide. There are others who say Crime and Punishment should have been the one which you should choose if you have to pick one Dostoevsky book, but I would go with his most famous book called The Idiot. Coincidentally, can you believe it that The Idiot was originally to be called The Prince? It speaks volumes for a book whose name could have been The Prince as well as finally The Idiot. I hope you get the irony involved. I don't want to get much into the plot line here. It's about a man who is coming back from a mental asylum abroad, having supposedly been treated, and he comes into this Russian society and or a lot of different characters, some shady, some very rich, etc. And his experiences. If you realize this story in many different ways has been adapted by a lot of you can say movie goers, definitely, except rather than a mentally retarded person, sometimes a very innocent man like Raj Kapoor used to play into a very smart and cunning society, and eventually the man realizes that he better stay away from this society. In this case, the man decides he's better off in a mental asylum. The story was semi-autobiographical. It really derived a lot from Dostoevsky's personal experiences. The sharp contrast between Dostoevsky and uh, Tolstoy is Tolstoy, you can essentially say, had a good life. He was part of the noble elite, whereas Dostoevsky struggled a lot in life. He used to have epileptic fits. He took part in some political activity for which he was sent to Siberia for many years. He has served jail, he has seen hardships. All his life he saw hardship. So, a lot of us root for such a person, right? So, that is what Dostoevsky was in real life. And this character, more than any other character, is full of the, you can say, psychological behavior, weird pattern, story. I mean, which represents a man of that kind of a contrasting nature, to the point that the hero has epileptic fits is also a part of the story. So it just tells you about it. I would say that if you want to read a grim story, if you want to understand what pain is, and from the pain of the character, you can really feel the pain of Dostoevsky himself. The moment you have understood this whole aspect of being semi-autobiographical, you can literally feel in the pages of this book that the man who wrote this book had a tough life. This is anguish poured onto paper, and so this book remains very special in the annals of world history. It shook me to my core. It really made me feel that chance, luck, or human behavior to one another can produce such anguish in individuals. And often we can be anguished without even understanding the reasons for that anguish. If you once want to relish the suffering of humankind and understand it, I mean, when I say enjoy, I mean in the sense of experiencing and then acknowledging that yes, this is there. You know, I strongly suggest going through Dostoevsky. Thank you, and I will not indulge in any further, vlogs on other Russian authors. I would love to do that. I definitely strongly believe, as does most of the world, that the last 19th century Russia produced wonders in terms of literature. It is extraordinary the efforts that they were able to do in that country. So I know I can only wait for another day where I can talk about Pushkin, Chekhov, Gorky, and all of these. But I had to bring in Dostoevsky in this list because it would be incomplete on my part to not talk about the other great of Russian literature and not be able to at least talk about one of his books and suggest how he was a striking contrast to Tolstoy. Thank you.